Right, now let's talk a little bit about adjusting cabinet hinges. Adjusting cabinet hinges with the new European style hinges is pretty simple because there's a lot of adjustment. You can adjust left to right, up and down, and in and out. So what I typically like to do is I like to get my door up as close to position as I can. I don't worry about being 100% accurate because I know that I have room to adjust. I want to get as close as I can because you don't have terrible much adjustment. But anyway, the first thing I want to do is get it up, and then I'll take a level and level the vertical. Put the level on the vertical side of the door. You can put it on the bottom of the door too, but what you want to do is figure out if your door is tilted one way or the other. Generally, both hinges that you put on, they're going to be pretty close, but if your cabinet is off a little bit, now's the time to do that. Do that before you do your up and down, and here's why. Because if you have two cabinet doors and they're not flush at the bottom, you might think, oh, this one cabinet door needs to go up. When in reality, maybe all it needs is to be turned a little bit. So when you turn that, you bring the top over to the left or right, it pulls this bottom corner up and down as well. So that's why you have to start with doing a level adjustment first. Make both your doors level. Doesn't matter if one's higher or lower at this point, you just want to get them level. Now, once you got that done, now you can bring them closer together if you need to, pull them apart, and go up and down. Let me show you the screws that are used to do that. On the frameless cabinet with the long arm hinge, the adjustment is going to be found here and inside this little hole. So inside that little hole, here you can see it on the plate. This has got this eccentric screw in the middle here. This is going to end up being inside that hole when this hinge is on there. And what that does is pushes this hinge up or down. The plate stays, but this other piece goes up and down. So generally you're going to want to do this on both hinges to raise and lower your door. However, if you're off just a hair, you can adjust just one screw a little bit, and that generally will take care of it. So that's the up and down, and then you might adjust both doors and try to get them as level as you can. To bring them together, now you're working with a left and right adjustment. That's going to be, I think, this screw right here on this long arm hinge. It's the one closest to the front. I should have a screwdriver and just double check, but you'll soon see when you start turning them what's going to happen. The left and right adjustment is kind of like working with a steering wheel, right? If you just adjust one to the left, it tilts the door. You need to adjust them both equally, right? So what you did at first to get these perfectly straight up and down with the level was you adjusted the top or the bottom, whichever way you had to go. Now to move them parallel, you're going to do both of them the same. All right, so that's the left and right. Now, what's the in and out for? In and out, on a full inset cabinet, this is going to be super important because you want to bring your door flush with the face of your cabinet. But also on a overlay door, you're going to run into cases where cabinets, in an older house maybe, or even if they weren't installed 100% level, the cabinet's twisted just a little bit, you're going to adjust the in and out. And here's how you do that. So when you put the door up on the face of the cabinet, and one of the corners, let's say this is your hinge side, this is your handle side, and let's say the bottom corner isn't quite hitting. The top corner is hitting the cabinet, but the bottom one isn't. How do you adjust that? The first thing you're going to want to look for is the hinge right beside it on the same level. You're going to make sure that that's pulled in all the way. And if it's still not hitting, you're going to go across opposite and push that one out. And most times that's going to take care of it, unless your cabinet is really out of whack. But most times you can adjust those corners. If the other corner isn't hitting, you're gonna do the same thing. Make sure that the top is pulled in first, come down to the bottom, and push out. So it's just going to create the right adjustment to make that door sit flat. 99% of the time, that'll get that door sitting flat. Unless, like I said, you've got cabinets that have really shifted or just been put in kind of crookedly, so then it won't work. So that's what the 6 adjustments are: up and down, left, right, in, out.